Hey everyone, we're TowAwayCouple. I'm Tom, the driver.
And I'm Bunny, and what am I?
Spending a lot of money on fuel is what you're doing.
I'm spending way too much money on fuel. But you know what? These are a lifesaver.
They are a lifesaver. So we said, what was it? 2, 3, 6 months ago, we were gonna do a video on the different tanks and the configurations.
I guess a bit better late than never.
Late than never.
But this is the perfect time to do it.
Because nobody's here.
Nobody's here.
So we're over here at
quiet.
Dan's Service Center, aka Dan's Hitch in Elkhart, Indiana. This is where we get all of our stuff done to our truck, and we have free reign of the place. There's nobody here. Shopping spree.
I'm sure they know how to find you.
I'm sure they know how to find me. And I'm sure there's cameras watching us do this video, so shh, I didn't say that. Anyway, we are going to talk about transfer tanks, toolboxes, and combo toolbox transfer tanks all in one.
Right, and this one is a video just on itself because there is so much information and everybody's truck is different, so there are so many different configurations.
We're going to try to keep this video about 10 minutes though, and we're already into it for 5.
We don't have a clock.
We don't have a clock.
You better hurry and talk.
Okay, so with that said, we have a short bed Ram, 6'4" bed, whatever it's called, and we have a fifth wheel hitch, a monster fifth wheel hitch. So what we have is, this is the exact style of tank we have in that truck. This is a 60-gallon RDS tank. Now, one of the things you'll note is we were just taking pictures in Dan's Hitch's boneyard, and there's a bunch of tanks back there. I'm gonna put a picture of what you should have on the side of the tank somewhere around here.
I think it's
right probably
here.
Over there.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a red tag, and it basically says it is DOT compliant. It tells you can gravity feed, diesel fuel, all the stuff, serial number of the tank, the gallons of the tank, everything. We're gonna post a picture of that, of our combo toolbox, like what's down here.
Right.
Because
now,
I have that handy.
Right, so let me put it this way. The red sticker is very important when you're transporting via commercially, because there are people that will sell these to you that are not DOT compliant, that they've used on the farm.
Yeah, a lot of hardware stores sell transfer tanks, but they're not designed for commercial use. So be sure to get the proper DOT compliant transfer tank. Now, they sell, this is the smallest one they sell. Well, I guess they could sell smaller ones, but mine was a 60-gallon. What they do here at Dan's Hitch is they try to maximize your bed for everything from the transfer tank to the fifth wheel hitch to the toolbox at the tailgate of your bed, if you so choose that configuration. My auto slide, I can only get a 60-gallon in. There are other manual slides you can get the 70 or 75-gallon. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know they go 60 to 90 gallons. But if you have the BMW hitch, they can actually modify that hitch where it doesn't hurt the integrity of the hitch, but you can get a 90-gallon. But it won't have the toolbox. Unfortunately, you're not going to get that big of a tank. It's going to be just a fuel cell.
Yes. Now, what's great about the toolbox fuel combination, especially when there's 2 people riding in the truck, you have that much more space on top of anything else that you have in there too.
Exactly. So with that said, we're going to show you the toolboxes next. We're just going to show you a couple toolboxes, but we're also going to explain why we chose ours. We chose the 60 because our auto slide only allowed us that room. They couldn't modify anything. But again, whatever your situation is could be different. Talk to the guys at Dan's Hitch. When you call in, they'll ask you, but that's just over the phone. When you get here, things may change. They're just guessing. So they're not guessing, they know their stuff. But once you give them the information and the translation to get to them, there might be different when you actually get here and they see really what you have. That might change. So call them, come in here, get it installed professionally and tested.
Yes.
So-
We just seen somebody the other day that was having issues with their tank, and they actually had put in some of the parts wrong. So therefore, it can be done. I mean, it's silly little parts that will make a big difference where they know how to do it professionally here.
Right. So let me pause the camera. We're going to throw up a toolbox on here real quick. Okay, so magically a toolbox appears.
It is magic.
Not that we didn't lift it off the rack. These are actually pretty lightweight. These are the rectangle toolboxes. The one up here over my head, it's actually about 4 inches narrower. I don't know the exact measurements. I believe this one's 31 inches and the other one might be 29 or 28 or 27. But the thing we like about and we're going to show you a couple of the others that are on the shelf back there. We like the rectangle ones because we can put as much stuff in any configuration and it fits. And we can move stuff around, but the most importantly, we can pack this thing as full as we can. Where we're going to show you the limitations on the other ones. Now,
You have them packed full.
these toolboxes go all the way to your back tailgate. What I like about this toolbox is I can before my Gen Y hitch, I could never open the tailgate all the way because of the trailer jack, the electric trailer jack or the crank trailer jack. Now my Gen Y gives me plenty of room, but for over a year on this toolbox, or the narrow one, I'd put the tailgate against my chest. The beauty of it is it has the handles here. The tailgate actually closes up against the handles and no one can access it when your truck is locked. Sure, they could break your window. They can hit the unlock key, open your tailgate, but there's also a lock in here so you can actually lock this if you want to be more secure. I haven't really had a need to lock mine. But when you open it, I don't want to scratch the other one. The beauty is I can close the tailgate back up and then I can access everything and then I don't have to reopen the tailgate. I can then just close the lid.
Right.
And it's done. This can be purchased in the chrome, silver, stainless steel, whatever color they call this. It could be done in black paint or powder coat. We chose to do rhino lining on all of our equipment, so that is another option. You can get it in black pretty much right here if they have it in stock. You can always get it in silver. And rhino lining is gonna take you about a week extra, so prepare if you want it rhino lined, because I don't want to scratch it, and I know the powder coating will scratch eventually. So if you want it rhino lined, check with them on the pricing. I believe the black and the silver are the same price, but the rhino lining will cost extra.
Yep.
So we're going to close this one up and we're going to show you another one. And again, we prefer the rectangle flat ones. The other ones are cool looking, but this is our recommendation.
A woman's point of view, these look really good on like white trucks and silver trucks. And the black looks good in the black and the gray.
Yeah, so whatever floats your boat.
Yep, you got it.
You can do it.
Maybe you can even have it powder coated in pink.
You could, I'm sure you could have it in any, Dad's Hitch can get you anything in any color configuration you want. It's a matter of how much do you want to spend and how much time.
It's gonna look good in that black truck.
But Bunny's not driving the black truck. She thinks she's going to put pink DOT numbers and pink toolboxes on my truck. Wishful thinking. It magically appears. So this is just another configuration of the rectangle. But what this one is for, now with the rectangle, it's below my hitch height. I didn't mention that a second ago. When I back into a fifth wheel, I don't have to raise the fifth wheel to go up and over and down. If I had the full height bed one, I would, and probably most likely not transport a lot of fifth wheels because a lot of them are pretty close to max, because when they bring them to the transfer yards, they're not setting them up for toolboxes, they're setting them up for you to hook and book. This is just, it's supposed to be for a kingpin or a fifth wheel, to actually it's more for kingpin because it's not cut down so much. But this one's pretty much the same as ours. The only issue we would personally have with it is Bunny likes to pack heavy. And the depth on this one is not very deep. Like Bunny goes, oh, but we can go up higher. Yeah, but you gotta know your height and your arms and everything.
So you can put your bigger bottles at the end.
Right. Now there may be a need or a reason you would need this toolbox over the others, and that's not for us to decide. We're just showing you the different configurations. So if this is something that would probably work better than the rectangle or the other cool ones, that's definitely an option for you, but there are options. All right, now we're getting into the cool looking truck boxes.
Yes.
So a lot of people, when they come into Elkhart, they see these, they immediately buy them, and they are cool looking. They're higher on the sides. That allows you to get your fifth wheel, and they're tapered for your fifth wheel kingpin box. And the nice thing about these ones is you can open that, well, actually, I'll start here. We can access it all the way down. You can see how far my hand goes down to my knuckles. And there's a compartment there that you can access by just barely opening your tailgate. The only issues I didn't go with this toolbox is because you have to physically open the tailgate all the way to access these two boxes. However, they are taller. You can get gallon jug bottles of whatever you want in here. But again, your limitation is you gotta either buy a Gen Y hitch or you gotta unhook your trailer to open your tailgate. We've seen where people buy these and then they remove their tailgate completely because once the trailer's hooked, the last thing you want to do is disconnect your load bars, unhook a trailer just to access one little thing out of here, a wrench.
Now, and one of the reasons why we went with the full length one too is that way we can, when we're, most of the time they are chained to the fifth wheel hitch, our load bars.
Yeah.
But we can lock them in our toolbox.
Yes, on the dually we have a little bit wider, so we could put our load bars and our shackles and the weight distribution head all in one corner, and we still have pretty much the full toolbox that we can use. So we're going to pause the camera, but this is one of the things that you'll have to think about when you're getting a toolbox. This one here is like right now currently like $500 or $600. The one we bought was $375-ish. So we don't have to lose a tailgate, we don't have to disconnect the trailer, or you don't have to buy a Gen Y hitch to access it.
But also too, if you are OCD or
me,
like you, or a female, you could put dirty tools in one and just liquids in the other, or clothes or your coats. That way you have a place to sleep at night.
Wow, you went deep.
I'm a woman.
All right, so let us put this away and we're gonna get the other one up here. Shazam. I'm getting tired.
No.
Hey,
Shazam.
this is a free video. At least say thank you, because this is a lot of work lugging these things off and on.
Don't say Shazam, you're aging yourself.
I am. So this is the final toolbox. Ryan's not here to explain. There was a reason this was tapered, and I think it was to maximize space, but also for the kingpin hitch. There's some technical reason this is here. Maybe I'll put a comment in the actual video in the description and once I talk to Ryan. But the main reason, I mean, you see a lot of these toolboxes.
Yes.
They are cool looking. I think they have the cool factor. You want cool? Cool is up here. We're in a rectangle box. We're not as cool, but we go with practicality. So
but ours are line.
So a lot of people like this. There's a lot of room in here, and this one gives you some versatility.
Right, so you've got the same thing, you've got really tall, so you can put your big bottles in there, you've got a lot of room.
You can put your dirty clothes.
Your dirty clothes, yes.
So this one is the same as that one, but this one over here is not an actual, it's an actual drawer. So you can think about it, it's limitless on what you want to put in here.
It's like a real toolbox.
What's that?
It's like a real toolbox.
It's like a real toolbox. Now, again, the reason we chose the rectangle is with this one, and we wanted this one, we just couldn't fit this one in our truck, thank God, at the time. Otherwise, this would have been in our truck, is the tailgate situation. You're gonna understand when you hook to these trailers, you limit yourself on the functionality of your tailgate. So a lot of times your tailgate's gonna be sitting on your chest, on your big belly, if you're me. But in order to access this toolbox, that tailgate has to be all the way open or completely off for you to do the drawer and the doors.
Right, we have a friend that did buy this one and he did have to remove
His tailgate.
And even with the Gen Y, you still really are trying to get around everything too.
Exactly. I mean, but the Gen Y, I'll tell you what, if you buy any of these toolboxes and you buy the Gen Y Boss torsion hitch like us, you're not going to have a problem opening your tailgate. Any of these boxes will work. Yes. But if you're going in at a budget and it's either a hitch or a toolbox, get the hitch.
Yep.
I still recommend the hitch all day long. But the toolbox is pretty cool.
Yes, and why the hitch is because if you're towing, you want as many options as you possibly can to make more money. And if you're only doing bumper pull, then you're knocking about half of your loads out. So definitely the hitch.
Well, the main reason for the hitch for me, and I'm going to go off subject for 20 seconds. The Boss torsion hitch allows me to move the trailer tongue up and down. That's the main purpose of it. The other one is it extends it from your truck so you can open your tailgate.
Yes.
So those are two big reasons for the hitch when looking at toolboxes.
I thought you were talking about fifth wheel hitch.
No, you gotta, it's the bumper pull hitch.
I know.
Yeah, the fifth wheel just gives you more options.
That's what I'm saying, more options.
All right. Okay, we're back on fuel tanks. Not the combos yet, but we're back on the fuel tanks. This one down here is the 118 gallon tank. You'll see a lot of times people will go on Facebook and they'll say, what size of fuel tank should I get? Or they'll ask about auxiliary tanks. And you will always, always, always get the people that will do a one-liner. 118 gallons, always go big. And they don't say why. They just say that. They don't know, a lot of times they don't know if you have a short bed or anything under the sun. 118 gallons is a great tank. You'll go for miles and miles and miles. They do they're not very well supported on top. A friend of ours got a 118 gallon and they're designed to be as lightweight as possible, but his was all bent up on the top from putting his hand on it while he reached across something or everything. I'm all about, if you want a 118 gallon, that's perfectly fine. We prefer toolboxes and we're gonna get into that next, but that's your 118 gallon. If people say only 118 gallon, they're only talking about mileage and how many miles you can go. Just remember this. It takes diesel to haul diesel. So the more diesel you put in, the more your truck weighs, the less miles per gallon you're getting until you burn that down. So now we're going to get into the toolbox combos with the fuel tanks and why we chose that route.
Right, well, we've got one right here.
We got one right here. So we initially were looking at this tank because we like the clean look on it and everything. And one of the things that we found is we were in a truck stop and it was blowing wind, snowing, sleeting, and a woman transporter was on a step ladder, but first she had to get into her bed to open the whole entire lid. And we're watching this. And the one thing that kind of caught our eye was, here's your toolbox. It's not all that deep, but it's depth and width, so that's pretty good. But one of the things that we watched her do is when she took off the gas cap or the fuel cap. Let me make sure no haters or trolls are out there. She pulls it out and pulls it out in the center unit. Meanwhile, what we're watching is spray blowing over all the stuff in the toolbox from the winds as she put it in here to hold it, and then she filled up. I was talking to Ryan, I said, I don't want that. I want my stuff in my toolbox to be clean. I don't want to have oil residue.
Right.
Now Ryan did say they could put a regular fuel cap on here, eliminate the sender because it has a gauge on here, and they could put a sender unit in the fuel tank, so all you have is a fuel cap. So perfectly fine. This is a 90-gallon tank. It does have options where you can do that. Had I known about that, this might have been our tank at the time, but I chose a different one. I'll show you why on that one. It does have a little bit of storage up here. This is where you can put your gloves and a couple of your tools for your trailer so they're not in the door of your truck getting everything oily. And it does offer quite a bit of support. 90 gallons. And they even put a light in here so you can put a light up here. That's kind of fun. Examples. So yeah, you can get these little lights from the hardware store and pop them, glue them up here, and they're just battery powered, and you can light them up.
They sell them here.
What's that?
They sell those here.
They sell those here. So when they install these tanks, we did a video on the shackles from frame rail scratches, the foam neoprene that they use to mount these tanks so it doesn't scratch your bed or dig a hole through the tank. That's what we used. So and they sell that by the foot here. Watch that video. We just had somebody do their shackles. So we're going to take you over to the tank that we bought, and we'll explain why we bought that one. Again, all this equipment here can be purchased in silver, black, and rhino lined in any configuration. And I'm sure with the added fee, any color, pink. Whatever. You can match your truck. How cool would that be?
I know, it would be. We should do that to the gray one.
After we just spent 10 grand on it.
But also too, if you have an idea or you question anything, definitely give them a call, because if they think that it can be fabricated and fitted that way, then definitely if they can do it, they will.
Speaking of which, so I'm going to add one more thing here. I know this video is getting long. A guy says, I like your roll-up tonneau cover, but I have this tank here. I have to physically open it to get to it, so I would have to roll the tonneau cover, and the flap that you have makes it really full. How can I do that? I don't know. I just transport RVs, but I did talk to Ryan, and I said, Ryan, is there a way to fabricate a hatch door here to where they can have it on a hinge, maybe it closed. Maybe have a either lock or a little T-lock where you could do it by hand, where they can Velcro back the latch or the cover,
right,
pull out their fuel cap, and then fill up, so that way they don't have to expose the bed. Ryan is going to look at that. So if that is something you're interested in, call Dan's Hitch and tell them, hey, I got one of those 90-gallon toolbox combos that have the full lid, and we saw Tom and Bunny's TowAwayCouple video on this, and that'll put a fire under them. Hey, it's all about service.
And that's where I said it was a question that we had yesterday, so he thought, you know what, I should definitely work on that.
Yeah, and I bring a lot of suggestions in here, and lo and behold, I can look around, and within days or weeks, I see the stuff I recommended, because as Ryan says, we have seat time. Mm-hmm. We do this for a living. They have desk time. They're selling this stuff. So your feedback, our feedback, all the transporter feedbacks to Dan's Hitch only allows them to offer the next guy a better service, because they learn from your trials and errors and journeys.
Exactly.
So let's go on to the next tank.
Okay.
Now we're on our tank.
Yes, but ours is rhino lined.
Ours is rhino lined. Yes, our whole bed, toolbox, tanks, boat trucks, everything is rhino lined. We both have the covers and we have the fuel access hatch. Now, the nice thing is this tank here is 2 tanks. It has an L-shaped tank and then a toolbox that sits on top. Yes. We're gonna first open the toolbox for you.
Oh, I gotta open it from this side.
You gotta open it from that side.
Smile.
Okay. Bunny hurt her arm the other day, so this one here, while not as deep as the 90-gallon we just showed you, it's deeper up and down.
Yes.
So they offer about the same amount of square inches. Just we wanted this one because, again, I didn't want to have to climb up in the bed of my truck to open the lid. I've seen several people with the 90-gallon climbing into their bed because if you don't have a stepladder, reaching over, and then if something's binding the other lock for any reason, you got to get up into your bed. Sometimes I got to get up in the bed to open mine because I might have put something against the locking mechanism on the other side. I never go in my toolbox because everything I have in there is for emergency, not for daily use. All the stuff for my daily use is in the rear. It's rhino line, but it's the rectangle one. And that way I can access it just by pulling open the tailgate. I don't have to climb up and in and out. I'm 54 years old. I don't need to be acting like a 21-year-old or 23.
Or jumping out of the back of your truck and breaking something.
Yeah, I almost broke my shin jumping out of the back of the truck because it caught the heel of my boot. So with that, this offers great storage, and so I can close it. The fuel cap is over here, and then you have your fuel gauge, and then you have your breather. I would highly recommend a couple things. These have locks. You can put a lock through it. I lock my fuel tank, even though there's a little quarter turn valve to gravity bleed it into your toolbox, your fuel cell. Check with Dan's, because if you have a Ford, sometimes you might have to install a fuel pump and then run your tank below half, then hit your pump to bring it up. There's something, I think it's Ford's, where it creates a memory, and then all of a sudden your computer in your Ford truck goes, I haven't come off full ever. I need to shut down because there's a problem. There's no way he can keep driving. So it doesn't, they don't know you put the truck doesn't know you put an auxiliary tank in. There should be a computer algorithm for that.
And just because of the fact that fuel prices are incredibly stupid high right now, we lock ours so that way when we are sleeping in a hotel or sleeping in the back of the truck
and siphon it out.
Gas.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they can cut the lock. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Yes, locks can be defeated, but why make it easy?
Right.
Now, what I would recommend on this tank, if I were to do it again, and maybe they can add it because it has this plastic cover over here, it would be nice to fill from both sides. When you go into the diesel islands, they have fuel pumps on both sides. It doesn't take that long in the diesel island to fill, and this is a 95-gallon tank. It doesn't take that long to fill, but I see so many people filling from both sides and takes half the time. I get a little jealous. So I'm going to see if it's possible if they can put a filler cap on the other side of mine.
There you go.
And then I can fill from both sides and be macho. So
go big or go home.
Go big or go home. I couldn't put this in the short bed truck.
No.
I had to go with the 60-gallon. So yeah, this is in a nutshell why we chose our equipment. Not saying the other equipment's bad. We just told you why we chose not to go with that. It doesn't mean it won't work for you and your configuration.
Exactly, because everybody's truck is different. Everybody's needs are completely different. And I mean, if there's just one of you and not two of you, or some of these ones would be great for dog food. I mean, just certain different configurations that you particularly need. you're going to find here.
Well, we also want you to be aware of certain things because a lot of people go buy things without the knowledge.
Yes.
As Ryan says, if you have the knowledge that you're going to have to be able to open your tailgate, that is a great toolbox to own. But you have to know that. And you know, when they're in here selling things, they're always thinking that you've already done your research or everything, because when you come into Dan's Hitch, you're going to see a line of guys. They can't hold everyone's hand and babysit them. That's why we do our videos.
Well, and I will kind of throw...
We're not saying your babies, just...
I will throw this one out there too. A lot of Chevys and Fords can open their tailgates, even attached to a truck,
Right.
or to a trailer. The newer Dodges,
They don't.
they don't.
So whenever someone sees me with my tailgate open, they immediately come over and they want to see what hitch I have, my configuration, because, oh my God, they can't open their tailgate, but yet here I am with my tailgate, and I still got that much clearance between the tongue of the trailer, not tongue, but the jack of the trailer and the tailgate, and I'm in there just futzing around, fiddling around, doing my thing. So, yeah, I will add it in here. We do not work for Dan's Hitch. We don't get a commission from Dan's Hitch. But they love it when you say, hey, I saw TowAwayCouple's video, and Tom and Bunny this, Tom and Bunny, just every other word, mention Tom and Bunny or TowAwayCouple. We hear it all the time, how they love it.
Wow.
I just want to annoy them. Help us annoy them.
Oh, jeez. Right? They're going to be like, no.
Stop saying their names. So, all right, until next time.
We'll see you down the road.
We'll see you down the road.